Hello and good evening. It is January 1st, 2021. I took a couple weeks off because I needed to meet with family and I needed to do some work and get some things sorted out. I needed to try and calm down a little bit because what is going on is an outrage. It is an abomination. And I can't believe what is happening. I visited a friend today, and I got off of the 405 going south, and Venice Boulevard. I passed the underpass there, and I couldn't believe what I saw. Must have been 100 tents under there, well, maybe 50, but it was just full of tents on either side, and just pieces of cardboard, people living in shacks. I have never seen anything like it. And these people in Washington, D.C., and I'll name some, Pelosi, McConnell, those are the two worst. These two scumbags have the gall, have the nerve to decide that the American people are not worth $2,000. Now, Nancy Pelosi, she put it on the floor for a vote because she knew that the Senate would not pass it. And that's why she did it, because she's not for that either. We were lucky to get the $600. I don't know how this is going to turn out, but this is sickening. My Twitter account got shut down for 24 hours because I violated their rules. And what I said was, it's time to start lynching politicians. And they said that I was inciting violence. Well, I'm not the only one. There is a lot of people out there. They just don't happen to have Twitter accounts. This situation is we're going into hell. Joe Biden is not going to fix anything. And I'm telling you, it's going to get worse under the Democrats, because the Democrats are now worse than the Republicans as far as it goes with the military-industrial complex and the deep state and their ties to Wall Street banks. For Mitch McConnell to get up and say, well, we can't vote on this because it's going to add $500 billion to the deficit. The deficit is a scam. It's a lie. It's bullshit. When a government invests in its people and in infrastructure, it should not be borrowing money from banks. That is what the central bank did. That is what the Fed is doing, is they are strangling this country by preventing us to do the things that we need to do. This deficit is a scam. It's illegal. It's unconstitutional. It should be just wiped clean, because people and the American people need to come first. Deficits versus human life. And that's what McConnell is getting up and talking about and defending, why he doesn't want to give American people any money. We are in a desperate situation here. And these people are so out of touch that they don't get it. Because they got great health care. They make plenty of money. They don't feel the pain. And they think the rest of us are just lazy. Well, let me tell you something. And I've said it before, and I'm going to say it again. If you people in Washington, D.C., particularly Pelosi and McConnell, if you two scumbags don't start doing something for the American people, then the American people are going to come for you, and they're going to take you out politically. And they're going to change the situation for themselves, because obviously you can't do it, because you're bought and you're paid for. Now, I also want to talk about Force the vote. Hashtag force the vote. I am 100% in on this. I am a member of the People's Party. These are the things that must be done. And for AOC and other liberals to be upset because Jimmy Dore swears too much and is too angry? Really? There's a lot of angry people out here. You want to hear me start swearing? I can do that. I can emphasize what I want to say, okay? Because I want to show you that there are a lot of angry people out here in terrible trouble. We are not getting the stimulus that we need. The unemployed cannot afford to pay their rents. We're going to have hundreds of thousands of homeless people soon when the moratorium is lifted. And you can be sure that these scumbags in Washington, D.C. are going to lift the moratorium because they don't give a shit about you. They don't care about you. They only care about their donors and the 1% class, and they don't care about the American people. They do not deserve to be in Washington, D.C. They do not deserve to have an office in the Congress and the Senate. These people are evil scumbags, and they need to be taken out politically. I am not inciting violence. When I speak about lynching politicians, I'm talking about metaphorically. You don't understand that? The time has come. The time has come, and it's here, and it's now. And if the Congress and the Senate don't act now, they never will. If AOC, she is in office because she was going to be a fighter, and she was going to take on Pelosi, and she was going to take on the status quo, and now she's folding. She's been bought? Is that possible? And Cenk Uygur? Well, I just heard he's now a millionaire, and isn't that interesting? Suddenly he went from a fighter to an apologist. Well, we're not really ready. We're doing these other things, blah, 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 blah. The DNC, the Democratic Party, I can tell you exactly how it works. If you don't play their game, because I was in the Democratic Party here in Los Angeles, and I can tell you, if you don't play the game, if you don't go along with the leadership and the status quo, they will ostracize you. They will not allow you to have any appointments on any committees. They literally told me to shut up and sit down when I was demanding that we do not pass NAFTA. So that's the Democratic Party for you in the 90s. They're worse now. It is an evil cabal of scumbags that need to be taken out politically. That's why we need the People's Party movement. That is why we need Force the Vote. Take on Nancy Pelosi. Demand that that woman puts this vote on the floor of the goddamn Congress now. It needs to be done now. It has to be done now. What is your excuse? When? If not now, when? In the middle of a pandemic. We have 300,000 Americans dead now, and we still can't vote for Medicare for all because we're worried about deficits. Oh, it's going to cost too much. They never have a problem with funding wars and bank bailouts. They never ask, where are we getting the money? Because they know that the deficit is a scam. You can take a computer and type in $1 billion and put it in an account. Just like that. You don't need to borrow it from a bank with interest because they are strangling us. The banks are doing it on purpose. They're strangling us, keeping us from doing the things that we need to do for the working class and the poor in this country. And it's a scam. And you can find out for yourself that it's unconstitutional. The Federal Reserve is unconstitutional. It needs to go. It needs to be done. And if we have to burn that building to the ground, we're going to do it. So it is time, and the time is now. When are we going to bring Medicare for all to the floor of the vote for the vote? If not now, when? Oh God! I am just as angry as Jimmy Dore is, and I am trying to keep the F words down, the F bombs. But when I saw those homeless people under that viaduct, and they were jammed in there, I just wanted to explode, because I saw Mitch McConnell on the floor of the Senate saying it's not going to pass, and there's nobody that's going to pass it. The $2,000 per person, per adult in this country as a stimulus, because it's going to add $500 billion to the deficit. So, this evil scumbag is more worried about deficits than he is about the American people. Same thing with Pelosi. As soon as Trump said $2,000, boom, they just dropped in. Hey, let's vote for that, because they knew that the Senate would turn it down. That's the only reason that the Democrats brought it to the floor. The only reason that Pelosi did that, because she is not for it either. She's a liar. They are all liars. We need to take them out politically. They need to be primaried. You need to join the People's Party now. peoplesparty.org. You need to sign up. You need to donate. You need to volunteer. Now is the time to take back this country from the oligarchy and the 1% and the towel boys and the towel women in the Congress and the Senate that are doing the bidding of the 1% and not for the American people. And that's it. The time is now. Now, if I disappear, probably no one's going to notice. But when people like me and Jimmy Dore and others that are standing up finally and holding the politicians' feet to the fire, guess what's going to happen? They're going to come for us. We're going to disappear. We're going to get suicided. Well, if Jimmy Dore gets suicided, you can know that it was the deep state that did it, and you can know that it's time to rise up and take this country back. And that's it. Thank God for YouTube. I am shocked that we still have it. Because you are not going to get this message on CNN. You're not going to get this message on MSNBC. And you're not going to get this message on Fox. You're not going to get this message on any major corporate media in this country. Because they are brainwashing operations. And they are part of the status quo. They are part of the 1%. So if you keep listening to the major media and you think you know something, you don't know shit. You don't know history, you don't know anything. So it's time for us to band together and take this country back away from the 1%. And that's it. So, I bid you good night. Let's see what happens tomorrow. All right, this is Terry Allen. And you can see that I'm a radical progressive, and we need more radical progressives out there. Desperately. All right, have a good night.